Hi there, it's Gareth from Rockfiend, and I'm here backstage at the garage in Glasgow with Tom and James from Mason Hill. Guys, how you doing?
Great, man. How are you?
I'm great. Great to be here.
Yeah.
Absolutely great to be, and a lovely day to be here as well. Sunshine in Glasgow.
I know, beautiful.
I know, it's unheard of.
I haven't seen a lot of this since in my commuting days, but it's good. It's welcome.
It's been nice. It's a great day to be able to come in and like load in, and you know, you can stand outside for a bit. I love it when it's like that. Everyone's always in a better mood as well. So
yeah.
It's
Definitely. The sunshine
makes a
helps.
change from doing it in the rain, anyway.
So guys, we're here backstage as part of is it 5-date tour of the UK over the past week or so.
Yep.
So it's great to speak to you, great to be here. Now, what we'll say first of all is you guys have been around for a while now in the scene. We all know who you are. We don't want to dwell in the past. I want to look at the future of Mason Hill. But just for anyone who might surprisingly never have heard of the band, just wanted to briefly go back to the beginning, or to the EP, which was about 2015 roughly, round about that time, James.
So, yeah, I think that's right.
Okay,
yeah.
So the EP comes out. You get a lot of gigs. You get some support for different bands. Things are going really well. The COVID hits, but you still batter through. Against the Wall, your debut album comes out, gets a great reception. There's a live album comes out. You're flying, and then the singer leaves.
Yeah.
So Scott leaves. At that point, did you ever think, guys, it's time to move on? Let's try something different, or did that never cross your mind? That's for you, James, obviously at this point.
No, I mean, so it took a while. I think at first we had this weird, like, newfound motivation to not allow it to end the band. So we were all kind of like buzzed, and we were like, right, okay, we'll put out notifications and emails and all sorts to see what kind of attention we can get for someone to join the band. But then I thought we thought it would be easier than it was. Don't get me wrong, we had lots of people wanting to join and send in tapes, and even to the point that we auditioned many, but it just wasn't. There was a lot of things we didn't understand that were missing. So that when you get through some of the tapes and you get to the point where, oh, this guy sounds good, and he comes to Glasgow, and you know, we do an audition. Some of them went well, and then it was like, maybe, okay, let's try something else. Let's write something together. And then the writing bit wasn't quite working, and that's obviously key. Or we just didn't have the same kind of personalities, didn't really get on. So there's just so much more to it that we didn't realize because we'd never done that before. So yeah, at that point, after a little bit of time and doing that quite a few times, it did start to get to the point where we were all just exhausted, and we were losing that kind of spark to want to keep doing it. So eventually, I mean, this was over the course of maybe about a year and a half or 2 years, though. It's not like we just suddenly went, oh, yeah, can't be bothered doing this now. It just ground us down a little bit. And yet, even in the last sort of hurdles of us feeling that way, we still pushed a little bit to try. And then obviously Tom, thankfully, joined. But that's the thing, by that point, Tom had ticked all the things that were missing with others, like really key things, writing together, getting on in person, just stuff like that, you know. And he was also the exact same age as us, pretty much. So many different things that just kind of landed. So yeah, no, we tried our best. Naturally, we're humans, so we'd lost a little bit of motivation, but we kept going, and it worked out in the end. So
Tom, so you then, did you hear they were looking for a singer, and did you approach them as such, or how did your involvement with Mason Hill come around?
I hadn't actually heard of Mason Hill prior to the audition. Sorry, James. Sorry, James. So I had done a few bands over the years, bit of solo stuff, acoustic sort of stuff, and then did some bedroom jamming. I was like, I really want to get back into doing shows again and getting on stage. So I just went on a bit of a hunt, really, for looking through auditions and what was kicking about, and just found them on Gumtree of all places, like 14th page or something crazy like that, deep in the middle of the night, and checked them out and was like, yeah, this is like really good, really strong. Sort of, you know, read a little bit up about them, and a few email exchanges back and forth with Matt. After he sent me some new demos of the new stuff, so I kind of laid some track vocals on that, a bit of back and forth. And very similar to you as well, because obviously coming into a band is like stepping into a new group of friends, and you know, you're not quite sure if you were gonna get on and stuff. But it was just really seamless, really. But yeah, that process took about sort of 3 or 4 months, sort of flying back and forth.
Yep.
And then we did a sort of a test in the studio with Dan Weller on one of the songs actually on the album now. And yeah, they offered me the job straight after the recording session. And yeah, rest is history. Here we are.
So, where are you from, Tom?
I'm from Bracknell.
You're from Bracknell,
so near Reading.
Right.
Sort of,
So, do you find the distance between the rest of the guys being up here in the Glasgow area, or I think Max Edinburgh, isn't it, in that area?
Yeah.
Do you find that was a problem at first, or was that something you were able to easily overcome?
I thought it would be, and I thought I didn't really have a chance because of that, but I knew you were looking nationwide anyway. But it kind of works. Me and James do pretty much all of the writing just remotely, just sending things back and forth. And then I'll come up sort of every other month really, and we'll do the rehearsing together. It is a shame. I'd love to be in the studio with him, like rehearsing every week. That would be great. But for now, it works fine.
It does work though, like with having the ability with like technology today that we can just send this stuff to each other. And with the way Tom approaches writing stuff, and the way I approach writing stuff, it's offering up more ways than just well, James will write an entire riff and song and put it all together, then Tom has to just put vocals on it. Like, it doesn't work that way anymore. Like, Tom will come up with his own stuff and send it to me. Then I'm like hearing little bits, and I can put things around it, send it back to Tom. Then Tom puts things around it and sends it back to me. So it's very easy because Tom has a way of writing music and songs that helps me, and I think I help you as well. So no, and then all we do is we just try and tailor anytime we're gonna need to get ready for something, be it recording or gigs. That's when we'll just go hard, like a full weekend. Tom will come up, spend Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we'll be in rehearsals. We'll just go hard with it, and in between that, me and the guys will just play the music once a week in rehearsal to stay kind of in on it, I guess. It's fine.
So that brings us on to the new music then, nicely onto the new music. So I had the pleasure of reviewing Twisted just a few weeks ago, and I mentioned on it that from following the band and knowing you since you were young guys and having known the sound since then, I mentioned this is a bold new sound from Mason Hill, but it's a great bold new sound and it really, really works. So James, if you look at where you came from, and obviously bands naturally progress, they will always naturally progress in their music, and particularly when you're a younger band. So did you always want to go in this kind of direction, or is it something that just came naturally writing with Tom?
It just came naturally. It started happening before Tom joined.
Right.
You got to think that a lot of the songs on that debut album, some of the ideas came from when I was even like 18.
Right.
So over the course of time, because I like all kinds of bands, I can go from Lamb of God, then I can go to John Mayer, or you know what I mean. There's a lot of in between for me. And all I really did was try and take the main influences that I liked. And I just tried to guide it in a way that I consistently enjoyed what I was doing. So the first album has all these songs on it that I will cherish and love, but through time, finding out about new bands as a fan of music, I don't want to listen to the same bands all the time. I don't want to write the same songs. I just wanted it to be completely natural, and for whatever reason, when I started going into the room to write a riff, it just got heavier. I don't know, and I enjoyed it. And so as a result, Tom offered what Tom offers, and then we just gelled and found a place. Because I think because I was already going there, and then when Tom joined, Tom just took it to an extra course of direction that naturally happened, and it got me excited. And yeah, he just sort of added the final piece as to what I guess was finding myself evolving to. Just didn't know what it was yet. And then Tom finalized what it was, and now I know. So now when me and Tom come up with ideas, I know roughly, I can imagine what Tom might do. You know, it's got to that point. So we didn't try and change.
Nothing's been forced.
Nothing's been forced. It's just the natural way. As you get older, you like different music. You start writing differently. And then ultimately, you just don't go into the room intending to write the exact same song as the last one. So it's just, over the years, it's just naturally changed. And it might do again at some point, I don't know. But
I think you're right, that's interesting to hear that, because I think, particularly in rock music, we're very, fans like me and musicians like yourself, we can be known to be quite territorial about it, you know, no, we're a hard rock band. But I think as I've got older now, I mean, I go to country gigs with my wife now, even 6-7 years ago, I'd like, nah, you'll never see me at a country gig, and I'm enjoying it. And you're right, I think it broadens your horizons in the music. You realise that there's so much to music, and you know, that genre is they merge in a lot of ways that maybe you don't realise if you don't properly listen to what's going on. But
yeah, the only active decision I think I have made is Twisted, you mentioned, that, for example, has no guitar solo in it.
Noticed that, yeah.
But many of the songs on the album do. So the only active decision I have kind of thought of at times is, does this song feel like it might need a good little bit? It could be a 10-second long solo, it could be 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Sometimes we've got a song that's about 6.5, 7 minutes long, and
right.
there's like a 2-minute guitar solo in it.
Yeah,
so it has to suit for me. It has to just work. And what I tend to do is when I start writing something, is it will usually be the first thing I start to naturally do, and then I'll put it away for a bit, or I'll just finish it there and then. So whatever happens, I just try and stick to that. And like I say, the only time that changes is if I'm like, this could do with a little solo, or a little bit of Tom singing instead of a solo. So yeah, that's literally the only thing I can say that I ever sit down and try and be mindful of, because we aren't going to be wildly different. It's heavier, some tones are different, obviously Tom's vocals are different, but there's never going to be a moment where there's not like a riff, and that was always a staple in the band. On the debut album, there was always riffs going on, and that's probably going to be quite consistent.
So the music's bigger than one person, as well, like you're saying. It's a whole band sound. It's not about one person. I focus on what one person the band's doing, which is probably what makes the new music we've heard sound so cohesive.
Yeah.
So yourself, Tom, how did you find it to sing? Was it a challenge coming in and getting music that it's quite tough sounding? It's it's really hard sounding music. Is that challenging for you, or does that come naturally with your voice?
That's kind of natural for me.
Right.
At the start of the process, when we were writing demos together, and I was sort of picking up from what you already had in like a back catalogue of stuff, that was a little bit more difficult, because I think I was probably trying to make my voice fit sort of a vision of Mason Hill from what I'd heard previously. We kind of got to a few songs where I think me and James were both like, we've hit a sweet spot here with we've kind of harmonious sort of writing. But everything that you hear on the album is like my favourite sort of stuff to sing, like really long sort of epic held notes, and influences from sort of even hip hop, like the on the beats and off the beats, and I try and do my best with the screaming, not too much, not too little, but just whatever feels necessary for those certain bits. But yeah, no, it was fun. The album sounds great. I'm really, really excited. I've just been listening to it constantly, to be honest.
And do we know when that's coming out? Am I allowed to ask?
I haven't got a date, but it will be quarter four.
Yeah, probably,
towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
That's something to look forward to then.
That's the aim. I mean, we've put those 2 songs out. They're both on the album, but they've not got anything to do with like promoting the album or anything. That was just about us trying to come back and start showing people bits of what we're like now, so that we could start gigging and doing this, because this is really key as well, and trying to do it again. We've learned so much already in the last 4 nights of gigs, so tonight's the 5th gig. We've learned so much even from that, so I think there's a lot we need to do still in the sort of behind the scenes aspect. So that from the moment someone hears a recording, there's so much more we're doing behind the scenes. So
anyway, so that brings us to where we are now. You mentioned you've just been on the tour. This is gig number 5, the end of the tour. How's it been received with a mix of new music and old music?
Well, I think that's a perfect question, because the first 2 gigs we did were in November last year.
That's right, yeah.
We maybe got that wrong. We maybe played too many new songs and didn't have enough of the old stuff. Because for us, we've been in our bedrooms, we've been in rehearsal spaces, constantly playing new stuff to try and create the band and the albums that we can go forward with. We maybe forgot about the older stuff, not realizing that's what technically people have came to see at this stage. So this time around, the tour starting on the Tuesday night in Manchester, I think we've really tailored the set so that we're not doing ourselves injustice by not playing any new stuff, but we're also not allowing fans of the band to stand watching all this new stuff they've never heard. So we've got a great balance.
It's a good balance.
I've consistently heard the last couple of nights from people saying that they were so happy to hear this song or that song from the album, and also, oh, I liked this new song you did as well. And I think we've kind of tried to separate the songs in such a way that flows as best we possibly could. So
there's a couple of fans in the audience that have come to Bristol, London, and Wolverhampton.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And by Wolverhampton, I can see them like singing along to some of the new stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if they know what the word, but like I'm just like,
get it.
it's great. It's great.
That's
to see
great
it
to
already.
see. Yeah.
It's been great feedback for us, and that's all gone towards our confidence building. So we needed that as well, because it's one thing writing songs, recording them, sitting alone in the room, saying, "Oh, this sounds great, can't wait to do it." But there's another to start actually hearing from people in person, not just on like Facebook or Instagram, whatever it may be, like in person, seeing someone right after. And look, it might not be for everyone. Music's subjective,
Of course it is.
but the people that do like it and hearing what they think, that's given us all the confidence to keep going with it. So. And we've been waiting a long time for that, to be fair.
Well, that's great, and it really is deserved. You've worked hard to get where you are, and Tom, from the songs I've heard so far, your voice is really fitting in. I'm loving this new sound, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen over the next year with Mason Hill, and I'm sure we'll see plenty of you over the next wee while, and when the new album comes out, and Rockfiend will be there to support you all the way. So thanks very much for speaking to us today. It's been much appreciated, and best of luck for the gig tonight.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.